As Congress and the Senate prepare to break for the holidays, maybe, it's a time to reflect on a jam-packed year. We'd like to welcome back Congresswoman Nancy Mace. It's good to see you again.
Thank you so much, Layla, for having me on, as always.
So it really sounds like everybody there, between Congress and the Senate, you could be, through the end of the year, stuck in D.C.
Yeah, we could be here till Christmas Eve. I mean, no one really knows at this point. There are a lot of items that both chambers have to address, from passing the NDAA to the debt ceiling to different appropriations measures that need to be put in place to whether or not Build Back Better gets done before Christmas. It's quite possible we're up here for the remainder of the year.
Yeah, and as far as what this last year has held, I mean, let's just take a look back and reflect on everything that has happened this year. It's been pretty much nonstop. I don't think your feet have touched the ground since January.
No, that's for sure. And as a freshman lawmaker, I've been very busy legislatively as well. My focus, obviously, is serving constituents throughout the 1st Congressional District. And from day one, I have had my head down and working extremely hard. And we have some great statistics about the office, record-breaking statistics about the work that we've done. And so from that perspective, it's been an exciting year to be a part of that, to create that as well.
What would you say has been your biggest accomplishment this year?
Passing legislation. I promise to be an independent voice. I've passed 3 bills out of the House, from civil rights to Gold Star families to cybersecurity and national security issues. I've done that work. I've done a tremendous amount of work that I said I was going to do, because some people come up here and they don't file a single bill. They don't get a single thing done. Here I am filing legislation every quarter and actually passing bills as well. And that's really important, that you have people that take care of, not only your district, your state, but your nation. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing I'm really proud of is the work we've done in the district. So one of the very first projects that we accomplished was an environmental and habitat and wildlife project called the Crab Bank. And that was a project that the town of Mount Pleasant and the Army Corps of Engineers are having a hard time working together on. And we got in the mix and we helped bring that to fruition. It was just a few days ago even that the Crab Bank was finished. Working to protect Paris Island is another big one. That was the first bill that I ever filed. But then also when it comes to the office in the Low Country, we've returned almost $5 million to taxpayers. So if you've called us because your IRS money was being held up, your refund was being held up, we got it for you. That's right. If you're looking for benefits or Social Security benefits, we got it for you. We've had 1,000 meetings with stakeholders and constituents in the district. We've returned that kind of money. We've, opened and closed over 3,000 casework files. I mean, we are working our tails off, and I'm honored to be a part of it.
Yes, absolutely. Talking about national security, something that we've been seeing images over and over and over again, not in our town, not in our city, thank goodness, but in cities across the country, of these smash and grabs. And there have been a lot of your colleagues on the Hill that have been blaming the pandemic on this. What are your thoughts? What's your take on what's going on?
Well, every individual is responsible for themselves, and if you break the law, that's on you, whether there is a COVID pandemic or not. What I believe the pandemic has shown us is it's also made our mental health issues in this country, those things have been exacerbated. But the laws in California, where you see all those images and videos of smash and grabs, those issues were created by lawmakers in the state of South Carolina. You don't see it in Charleston, right? Or Beaufort or Hilton Head. You see it in other places that allow those things to happen. Mm-hmm. And I think in California, I'm not a lawmaker from California, I can't speak on it directly, but I believe that you're allowed to steal like an item up to $900 in value, right? Mm-hmm. And so what's stopping you from stealing merchandise? That's right. If that's the law, you're not going to be arrested, let alone prosecuted. So lawmakers created that issue.
And it makes you grateful for living in a city like Charleston, in a place like the Low Country, and in a state like South Carolina.
Right, and business owners, you're here to create a business and create value, create jobs, and we allow you to do that without folks coming in and breaking the law and taking your dreams, stealing your dreams, taking those dreams away from you and those in your community. We should all be proud. I mean, I think over the last 2 years through COVID, how our community in the Low Country in Charleston, how we've come together, we've worked together to make sure that we have safe communities, that we have vibrant communities, and communities where you can find a job and work and prosper. Absolutely. It's all right here.
Absolutely. Well, I want to talk about another passion project of yours, and this is referring to the letter that you sent to Anthony Fauci. We do need to take a break, so we're going to do that when we come back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. We've been talking with Congresswoman Nancy Mace, looking back on a very full year, and no doubt 2022 is going to be jam-packed as well. But I want to also address something that has been very near and dear to your heart, Congresswoman Mace, and that is the letter that you wrote to Anthony Fauci about discovery that you made regarding the cruel treatment of animals in animal testing. But you've since made some more discoveries. You dug a little bit further. Can you tell us a bit more about what you found?
Yeah, when we wrote Dr. Fauci about a month ago and still have not heard back from him or anyone at NIH or NIAID, where the funding for these horrific and barbaric and gruesome science experiments, the money's coming from, we have yet to hear back from him. But most recently, we learned about Morgan Island, also known to locals as Monkey Island. Now, Monkey Island is off the coast of Beaufort County. And it's an area where many of us, the local lore and local legend was that this was a sanctuary, almost like a retirement home for monkeys that had been used in lab experiments. But there was a group called White Coat Waste just a few weeks ago that did a FOIA and realized and learned that there are between 500 and 600 monkeys that are taken from this island every year and then used in scientific lab experiments. And I can't even look at the pictures of the results of some of those experiments. It's disgusting and barbaric and just gravely disappointing to know that that is something that's happening with these monkeys that are coming out of our community off of Monkey Island. And so we are going to be visiting Monkey Island very soon in the next couple of days to dig in and try to bring this issue to light to not just everybody in the Lowcountry and in South Carolina, but across the country.
Have you pinpointed, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but have you pinpointed anyone from South Carolina in particular who is responsible for contributing to this?
Still digging in, and we just got back from Thanksgiving break, and I was out of the country serving Thanksgiving dinner to our soldiers overseas, so we're getting right back into it now. And so we're trying to learn as much as we can, working with White Coat Waste and others to get to the bottom of it. I fired off another letter to Dr. Fauci. I don't have very much hope in getting a response. And if that happens, we'll start looking at legislative measures to right some of these wrongs.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to President Biden's boycott of the Olympics in China. What are your thoughts on his approach?
Well, I believe the administration should boycott the Olympics in China. One of the things I learned while I was overseas in the Indo-Pacific region, I visited Japan, Korea, and Taiwan, is the aggressive nature of China. This is a threat that is real. The threat is military, and it's also economic. And when you look at what China has done, the tennis star from China that no one has heard from for weeks and months now just disappeared, vanished off the face of the earth. When you look at the genocide with the Uyghurs, you look at the slave labor within the Uyghurs that China that's funded by the government of China, by the Chinese Communist Party. These are not things that we should be turning another cheek to. And the reason not only the United States, but other countries around the world, we turn our cheek to the atrocities in China is because we don't want our iPhones to cost $5,000, right? We want everything to be cheap. And that's a real problem. And we've got to, if we want to avoid military conflict or war with China, we've got to look at economic ways to make this as painful and as expensive as possible, and including and not limited to not attending the Olympics in China.
And I think a lot of people have been making their voices heard, including the basketball player Enes Freedom. He did become a recent citizen of the United States from Turkey, and has changed his last name to Freedom, which I think is pretty remarkable. But he's also been very outspoken about his thoughts and feelings about what's going on in China. 2022, not far off. We're just a few weeks away. What are you hoping to accomplish next year?
Well, we're going to continue doing the work that we started. In fact, we're going to end the year with a bang. We've got several bills we're going to file before the end of the year, and we're going to start the year off right, doing the same thing I did last year. Serving the Lowcountry truly is the honor of my lifetime. And I've worked on everything from animal rights to environmental to climate to protecting our military, our national security, doing civil rights work. I go into the new year as the ranking Republican on the Civil Rights Committee on Oversight. These are important times with important issues, and I very, very much care and want to be a leader on many of these issues, and I'm trying to set a good example for folks on both sides of the aisle on how to get it done, how to work together, and to move this country forward.
And you're going to be campaigning all over again. It's hard to believe that we're halfway through now, your first term there in Washington, but it's going to be time to campaign. What would you have to say to some of the declared candidates, some of your opponents, as you move into 2022?
I actually have nothing to say. I mean, it's really an honor for me to serve the Low Country and to serve the 1st Congressional District. I'm doing exactly what I said I would be doing. And the beauty of the First Amendment, the beauty of the right to vote, the sacred right to vote, is that voters in the district, whatever that district looks like next year, will have the opportunity to do that. But when you look at my record, you look at the accomplishments of the office, you'll really see how tremendous the work is that we've done. We've covered every base. We've worked with every community within the district to deliver on results. And I'm excited about the results that we have given the Low Country, and we're going to continue to do that. So.
And your thoughts about more Republicans joining the Congress, and any thoughts on Devin Nunes hanging up his hat?
I think Republicans are going to win big next year. And I think it's easily a dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen seats, as long as we focus on solutions and not saying the other side is just the problem and not having a solution. We've got to be strong. We've got to condemn some of the bigotry and racism on both sides of the aisle, and the anti-Semitism that I've done over the last year, and also recognize that every person is different, every community is different, and we've got to be a strong voice with strong solutions to get us out of the mess that we are in. We have inflation that is causing the cost of goods to rise tremendously. I don't know about you, Layla, but the last time I filled up my tank, it was twice as much as it was a year ago.
Don't even get me started on that.
I'm filling up a half a tank right now because it's sort of depressing to see how much it costs.
Right.
And trying to drive very little, taking walks on the bike whenever you can, right? But not everybody can do that. And so, inflation is taxation. The crisis at the border affects everybody, even in South Carolina. I mean, they're just big issues that are facing our country, and it affects every community.
Yeah.
And Republicans have to lead on that, and we're going to next year.
Sounds like it all goes on Santa's naughty list.
Yeah.
Congresswoman Nancy Mace, I want to thank you so much for joining us. If we don't speak before Christmas, Merry Christmas and a happy and healthy New Year.
Thank you so much, and have a great week.
We're back after this.